All right, what's happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of Sensible Investing. My name is Jesse, and today we've just got a very quick little channel update because, as you may recall from last year in my previous video, I talked about the fact that I was looking into the lithium sector as I thought that it's experienced quite a bit of a sell off. And also in the previous video, I had talked about me picking one of your stocks, right? So I got you guys to do a few suggestions of different companies that you want me to analyze. And what I'll do is at the end of this video, I will, to be fair to everybody who submitted their suggestions, use a little random number generator to pick one of your stocks, and then that'll be for an upcoming video. I suspect at some point in February, probably late February. And before we get into that, what I just wanted to do is to quickly give you guys a quick update in terms of my research and findings into the lithium sector. So far I've put about, sort of 20 odd hours into it, and I've decided that at this point I'm going to park it for now and wait probably another 12 to 18 months. Now, I know some of you will say, oh, look, lithium's bottom, the stocks are really, really cheap. Why are you doing that? And look, the answer to your question is pretty simple, right? Because from my research, as you can see, there has been a massive hype in terms of lithium, electric vehicles, government subsidies, you name it in China, right? So, because we have to understand 50% of the EV sales leading up to sort of this point has been in China, okay? And the volume of EV that are projected they need in China is going to be half of the world, okay? Because if you consider their population and the amount of cars, the amount of pollution. Now, what's happened is here in the recent months, starting from the middle of the year, the growth in lithium vehicle sales, electric vehicle sales, has actually gone from, up 97% year on year to negative 2% year on year. And as you can see, the downward trajectory is actually accelerating, right? So there's sort of no sign that it's ready to bottom. And the reason for that is because what happened was the government had significantly cut their subsidies towards electric vehicles, right? So we've got the Chinese consumers before going out like mad to buy electric vehicles, but for a plethora of reasons, which we'll cover shortly, the government has cut the subsidies to focus on quality rather than on mass. And so what we've seen is that, obviously, unlike in the West, to the Chinese consumers and buyers of electric vehicles, the electric vehicle hype hasn't really resonated, right? So everybody's been going and buying it because there's been a subsidy and they've been able to save money. Now, the higher-end luxury stuff, that's definitely resonated. But with your mum and dads and your average everyday people, as you can see by the numbers, it hasn't. So as soon as the subsidies have been cut, the sales have pretty much fallen through the floor. Now, that's not good for the lithium sector, and the reason being is because, as you can see over here, these are the Chinese brands that, sell electric vehicles. And obviously, if things are going down year on year massively, right, that's going to affect things like the raw materials, right, and obviously lithium batteries. And so, as you can see, despite the foreign brands doing well, Tesla doing well, opening up a, gigafactory in China, EV sales of Tesla around the world are booming, you can see that the increase in foreign branded electric vehicles is by no means offsetting the massive decrease in terms of the local brands, the Chinese brands, okay? And if you compare the volumes, you'll see that year on year they're still at a massive deficit, right? And obviously, this to me indicates that the lithium sector, really isn't yet ready to recover, unlike what the analysts are saying. So, look, I actually think that, despite the Chinese government saying we need, these many million vehicles on the road and these many new vehicles, it's still early days. And so that's sort of part of the reason why I think, look, lithium will still be good over the long term, but I don't believe now is the right time to be sort of investing too much energy looking at it, okay? And so that's the reason why I wanted to park it to one side to research other stocks. Now, as you can see over here, that's actually the projection for the 2019 in terms of the, net new electric vehicle sales. I actually think that that's going to significantly underperform, and that's probably going to decline a lot more than what the projections are saying year on year. Okay. Now, furthermore, the reason for this is happening, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is you've got people much more focused on quality than on quantity. Okay, because as you guys are probably very familiar with China, okay? Everybody in China likes to make a quick buck. So when you've got the government doing heavy subsidies, right? You've got people trying to get electric vehicles out the door, and there's very little quality checking, right? And so that's led to all of these issues, and the government significantly scaling back. So the good quality players, they'll still be doing well, but as you can see, it's going to clear out a lot of the crap, very similar to what's happened in other Chinese industries, okay? Take GraphTech, for example, the video that I made quite a few months ago, okay? I talked about how China was like, oh, look, we're going to make these electrodes for, the making of steel, and we're going to make it cheaper and faster than you guys in the States, okay? And obviously that sector sold off. But as we saw, the amount of time that it takes to perfect the technology, okay, and electrodes are nowhere near as complex as electric vehicle batteries, guys. So I think that there's still a lot more time for this quality control, I guess, measures to play out, which is going to significantly lower lithium demand and volumes. And I think the sort of market just got a little bit too bullish of itself by hyping lithium up so much. So look, I still think that there's more pain for the sector to come. Will it be good over the long term? Yes. When? Not too sure, but I don't think it's going to revert any time within the next 18 to 12 months, and hence that's the reason why I've parked it, okay, guys? So remember, if you're, because if you think about Tesla, right, they've lost about $35 billion to get to the point where they are today, where they are top of their game and excellent, okay? And for, these smaller Chinese outfits, shops to come along to try and replicate that in a short amount of time, this is the byproduct of that, okay? So I think everybody just got a little bit too hyped up and too bullish, and so that's why I'm sort of putting the lithium sector on watch for the moment. Now, if you guys are interested in looking at electric vehicles and, all of that, what I would actually recommend is for you to look at things like copper and nickel. Now, I'm going to obviously say here that I'm not an expert by any means in terms of chemistry, commodities and whatnot. So if this is something of your interest, you should probably do a lot more digging yourself. But the interesting thing is, look, within the nickel sector, right, I think that nickel is sort of the underdog sort of metal that nobody's talking about, that's going to be the sort of dark horse of the race. And the reason why I say that is because if you have a look at the nickel sector and the London Metal Exchange, and their sort of stockpiles, you'll see that it's going down year on year on year, very, very consistently. So there's obviously a deficit forming. Furthermore, you've got two types of nickel. You've got high quality nickel, and then you've got the low quality nickel for pig iron. And they're actually talking about potentially separating the two metals that trade on the London Metals Exchange. So you've got pig iron nickel and then battery grade nickel, okay, guys? And that stuff is very scarce, right? So it's getting harder to mine. There aren't many new projects being developed, and it's in short supply. So I think that that might actually be an equally good sector to look at in terms of not just lithium but also nickel. Furthermore, the things that nickel can bring to your battery, right? So taking up less space, weighing less, right? Being a bit safer, more energy storage capacity, lighter, longer life. These are all the things that are highly desirable by any electric vehicle makers, especially of the battery, right, guys? So we have to keep this in mind. So if you are interested, look, I think nickel might actually be an equally good metal to look at, along with lithium, especially when we actually consider how much nickel is needed per electric vehicle. And the ratio of nickel that's going to be used in the cathodes are only going to increase over time, and then some, because obviously people are trying to remove their use of cobalt in these batteries. Okay, guys? So that's my sort of quick run through for the lithium sector. Still bullish on it, but for the next sort of 1.5 to 2 years, I just don't really see it going anywhere. So that's my initial summary. Okay, guys? All right, now moving on, guys. So that's the first part of the video. The second part of the video, now I've got you guys to comment on a few of my videos for some of your stock suggestions. And so what I'm now going to do is just aggregate all of the companies that have been suggested, and then at the end of the video, pick one of these stocks to analyze in an upcoming video. Okay, guys? So in no particular order, we've got American Airlines, we've got iRobot, we've got Union Medical Healthcare, Livent, so a lithium company, right, guys? So, even if I might be stopping researching the lithium sector. You guys still might get a lithium video because this is very popular amongst my viewers, okay? So we've got Levent, we've got Tailored Brands. Funny enough, we've got another stock that's related to electric vehicles, which is BYD, okay? The major sort of battery makers in China, right? We've got NV5. We've also got Pangea Logistics. We've got YY.com. And funny enough, another lithium stock, which is Albemarle. So guys, you've got a sort of 3 in 13 chance to get a lithium or electric vehicle related stock, even if I'm sort of parking my research to one side. Okay, guys. All right, and then we've got Emperor Hotels in Hong Kong, and I think of that. No, and then we've got Innova Derma, a skincare company, and that's it. Okay, guys. So what I've done is I've given each company a unique number from 1 to 13, as you can see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to then hop out of this video and use a random number generator to pick the stock. And then whatever the random number generator picks, that's the company that I'm going to be doing some deep research for an upcoming video for you guys. And sorry guys, just a little correction. It's actually 1 to 12, not 1 to 13, because I was looking at the left-hand side rather than the right-hand side, okay? So as you can see, the 1 there, okay? So we're going to do 1 to 12, not 1 to 13. All right, guys, so as you can see, I've come up to random.org. I plugged in the numbers 1 to 12, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a completely random number generator here. So drum roll. Okay, click the generate button, and the result is stock number 3, okay, guys? So for my next video, at sometime in late February, I'm going to be doing a deep research into Union Medical Healthcare, and that should be coming up at some point later in February. Okay, guys, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, looking forward to providing you some more updated research as and when we go. Until next time, happy investing.